Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Ailinglaplap Atoll and Ailuk Atoll in the Marshall Islands. Now, to start, the Marshall Islands are mostly atolls. I believe pretty much all of them are atolls. In the North Pacific Ocean, you can see Hawaii is just up here, Micronesia's over here, there's Tuvalu just down here, and the Solomon Islands right here. They're kind of right in the middle of all that. Of course, Marshall Islands, most famous for the Bikini Atoll over here, but that's another day to talk about. First of all, what is an atoll? An atoll is considered a ringed coral island. So once upon a time, there was most likely a volcano there, a big landform like this, right? And surrounding it was coral reefs. Over time, either the volcano erupted or the land wore down, and it sank under the ocean like this, which just leaves the coral around it and maybe even some little bits of land still, depending on how long ago the island would have worn down into the sea. So that is an atoll. And they're very typical atolls, Ailinglaplap and Ailuk. Not much else to say on geography except for some little specifics. Ailinglaplap, which means the greatest atoll, because a lot of great legends happened on this atoll, which we'll talk about a little bit. It is made up of 56 islands and is part of the Jaluit chain. Jaluit chain. Ailuk is made up of 57 islands. It's in the Ratak chain. You can see there. And the main difference between them is that Ailinglaplap does have more people living on it. And actually, I'll tell you what they're all famous for after their history. And Ailuk as well. Let's get into history real quick so I can pull out Google Earth to show you these beautiful little places. So starting with Ailinglaplap, like I said, there were many different legends that happened here. I've read a couple of them. My favorite is the story of the first coconut in the Marshall Islands. Pretty much this lady became pregnant with a coconut, and the coconut, once it reached speaking age, because it was a baby, told her to plant him and he would grow into coconut trees, and all those coconuts would be her grandchildren and things. That's how coconuts arrived in the Marshall Islands. Quaint little stories like that. It was also the seat of the major chiefs of the area. They were known as the Ailinglaplap. So lots of little history happening here, but I couldn't really find anything more extensive than that. And for Ailuk, I couldn't really find anything about their pre-European contact. Ailuk was first sighted by the Europeans in 1565. It was the Spanish, and they named it Los Placeres. Ailinglaplap was first sighted in 1797 by the British. They named it Lambert Island. And there was generally friendly contact between the natives here and the Europeans. It was kind of at that point, like the 1800s, when serious contact began, that people realized, oh, we shouldn't go in slaughtering people. We should be friendly and cordial toward native peoples who've never been contacted before. So it was pretty amicable. In 1884, the Germans took over this area. Germany was a new country at this time, and they wanted to be like all the other cool kids in Europe and have colonies. But pretty much all of the neat places in like Africa, Asia, and the Americas were already taken. So Germany set their sights on Oceania. There is sort of a big to do. There were some conflicts in some parts of the area, some negotiations. Not really so much in the Marshall Islands. They were just, given them to Germany without much hubbub around. Germany established on Ailinglaplap some coconut plantations, which, makes sense considering all the coconuts there. And they were using the coconuts for their copra, which is the coconut meat, the actual chewy stuff. When you eat coconut, you're eating copra. After World War I, Japan had jurisdiction over the Marshall Islands. After all the dust settled of World War I and negotiations were arranged, Germany pretty much lost all its colonies. And with the South Seas Mandate, Oceania was pretty much split up between mostly Japan and some of the United States. But Japan got most of it. So Japan was in control. They set up some military bases on mainly on Ailinglaplap. They built some airstrips, and they built an airstrip on Ailuk as well. But of course, after World War II, Japan lost all of their territory, and it went to the United States. Very famously, the United States used the Bikini Atoll as a nuclear testing site, but the U.S. didn't really have a need for, producing copra or anything, so it was just kind of there. This agreement was the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands. So it was sort of a strange agreement in that the United States controlled the Marshall Islands, but they didn't own them. There were some islands that the United States owned and still have jurisdiction over to this day, but they didn't actually control the Marshall Islands, but they did at the same time. It's a very strange agreement. So obviously, once independence was worked out, they got rid of as much American influence as possible. That was in 1986. So what is happening on these atolls today? Ailuk is known as the Island of Sails because there is, I'm away from my book, Ailuk Atoll. There is a little boating industry on Ailuk, mainly outrigger canoes and just little basic boats to get you from atoll to atoll. Apparently it's very fun to go there and sail around. Ailinglaplap still has its copra industry, and it's also a surfing hotspot. They have a surfing resort here, and surfers from all over the world come here to surf. So that's a pretty neat little industry they dipped their toes in. And that is pretty much where we are today in the history of these two islands. Let me grab the tablet. I'm stuck to my book. It's starting to get hot. There you go. It's that time of year where I'm starting to stick to the book, which is kind of bad because there's some pages in Africa in my big book that are have some swan's names on them. But anyway, here we have Ailinglaplap Atoll. I'm going to tap this. Okay, I'm going to tap this. There we go. So you can kind of see exactly where we are in the world. So there's Japan up there. Papua New Guinea, Australia. You can see there's Hawaii. And we're right smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There we go. That, and let's go back to... Let's go back to Ailinglaplap. Here we go. Okay, Ailinglaplap. There's a couple of little villages on here. You can see here's the main airport, and you can see some civilization here on the inward side of the lagoon. I'm trying to look around and see some cool places to show you. Aren't these neat? All these little tiny islands. I did find one, but I have to cruise around to find it. Let's see if I can locate it. Oh goodness, stop doing that. Let's see. It was up here past Wocha, which is very confusing because there is a Wocha Atoll. So, not to be confused, you can see another airstrip there. Let's see if I can find. I don't think I am going to. This one, a little picture I found. I don't know. I find all kinds of cool stuff to show you guys, and then once I'm filming, I'm at a loss. You can see there's a big road going down there where the people on this island live, along the lagoon side, much calmer than, the ocean side, right? I can show you some pictures of, if I zoom out, and of course it's not going to do it. Let me go like this. Ailinglaplap. And then of course it's not doing it. A little slideshow would pop up, and it's not. My goodness. This one only has the one photo, which is very beautiful, right? But the other slideshow had better pictures. Come on. Of course it's not. Okay. Well, that's fun. Okay. So I suppose if it's not going to pop up, maybe check out Google Earth for yourself. We'll try again. Let's head over to Ailuk, which is up here. See, there's Wocha, not to be confused. Here is Ailuk, which I don't think has no slideshows here. But these islands are so interesting. Look how tiny they are. Compared to the last atoll where they were just long strips, this one is just little tiny dots, little rocks covered in trees and surrounded by beaches. I don't think I found any good photos. And what's sad is that the main island here, you can see, was a very cloudy day. The main island is covered in clouds on Google Earth, so you can see the town here. But we can't really explore much because it was a very cloudy day when the satellites took this photo. So sadly, we can't explore much of this island. Let me see. Let's see if it's cooperating now. No, it's not. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Okay. Anyway, the Marshall Islands are a fun place to explore on Google Earth. I'd recommend it. Of course, it's not doing it now. Nope. Okay then, so I guess I'm gonna have to leave it there. Let me try one more time to find the little island that I found in that picture. Sorry for the bright blue. It's thinking hard. It was near Wocha. At least I thought it was. Maybe it was over here. No. Why is it so blue? Google Earth is really failing me right now. Well, I tried. I did my best. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Next in my series, we're going to Palau. More Oceania history, and it's a lot more extensive than this, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a very good